Religion. It's one of the most central components of society, a foundational piece of human history. There have been many shifts in religious beliefs over time, from worship of natural forces and objects like the sun, rain, moon, and stars, to belief in a pantheon of gods, to belief in only one God, to beliefs about prophets and religious leaders who speak for God and bring His words to us. But now we are experiencing a new religious shift, that is, a rejection of it. Secularism has had some extraordinary successes over the last few centuries, and more specifically the last few decades. In the West, the growth of religious nuns has been exponential. It is a movement that purports to be all about logical, rational thinking and a focus on science above all. And at the forefront of this movement have been a number of prominent individuals, speakers and philosophers and scholars who have helped make atheism popular among the masses and helped it grow. But what if I told you that the stories we've been told about these prominent atheists are actually lies? The biggest battleground for atheists in today's world has been Christianity. The world's most popular and influential religion, over 2 billion people profess belief in Jesus Christ, a first-century Jewish itinerant rabbi and sage who Christians believe is the Son of the Almighty God. For Christians and non-Christians alike, many elements of his story are extremely well known. He was born traditionally on December 25th in a Jewish lineage to a Jewish woman named Mary in the town of Bethlehem, which was occupied at the time by the Roman Empire. And he was born of the line of David. His family traveled significantly in his youth, including a flight to Egypt. He had multiple siblings. He had an incident at 12 years old in the temple when he was noticed by religious leaders as a prodigy. Then at age 30, his life underwent a significant change when he started his ministry. During his ministry, he traveled often, taught many people, debated religious leaders, and in the process he coined several infamous terms and expressions, such as wolf in sheep's clothing, go the extra mile, and turn the other cheek. Jesus never married during his life on earth, and he is very famous for forming a new covenant, replacing the old covenant of the people of Israel. These are all highly recognizable facts about him. Without question, he is one of the most influential people in history, if not the most influential of all. And with Jesus' biography in mind, let's take a look at some of the biographies of the key figures of modern atheism who are battling Christianity. Of all of these, the most famous modern atheist is likely Richard Dawkins, a British evolutionary biologist who is famous for writing the book The God Delusion. The name Richard means strong ruler, and Dawkins means kin of David, so his name could literally be translated strong ruler of the kin of David. Richard Dawkins' mother was Jean Mary. He was born in Nairobi, Kenya, which was territory that was occupied by the British at the time, and he traveled frequently as a child. At age 30, he underwent a significant life change, becoming a lecturer at Oxford University and a fellow at New College, Oxford. He engages in talks and debates about religious beliefs. He has a sister, and he is well known for coining the word meme, which he coined in his 1976 book, The Selfish Gene. Dawkins defined it as a unit of cultural transmission or a unit of imitation, and now it is quite well-known internet lingo. Along with Dawkins, one of the most prominent of all modern atheists is Christopher Hitchens. Of course, right away you see that Christ is the first 6 letters of his name. Hitchens' mother was Jewish. He also frequently traveled in his youth. He has a brother named Peter Hitchens, with whom he has publicly disagreed. He underwent a significant life change around age 30 as he went to America and joined the progressive magazine The Nation. He was known for being an excellent speaker, and he invented the concept of Hitchens' razor, which is the assertion that that which can be asserted without evidence can also be dismissed without evidence. Alongside Hitchens and Dawkins, two other atheists make up a particularly influential quartet. Sam Harris, who has a Jewish mother, multiple sisters, and underwent a significant life change around age 30 when he returned from a lengthy trip studying meditation in India and Nepal. And Daniel Dennett, whose mother was named Mary. He frequently traveled in his youth, including in the Middle East. At age 11, his intelligence was already noted, with a camp counselor calling him a philosopher. And he underwent a significant life change around age 30, moving from UC Irvine to Tufts University, where he taught for many years. These four atheists are so popular that they are known as the Four Horsemen of New Atheism, borrowing a phrase from the Book of Revelation. But in addition to these four, there are plenty of other prominent atheists, including a couple of well-known comedians. Bill Maher, whose mother was Jewish, who never married, and has a sister. And Ricky Gervais. The surname Gervais means spearman. Of course, Jesus was pierced in the side by a spearman shortly after he died on the cross. Interestingly, Gervais has a June 25th birthday, the polar opposite date of December 25th. Gervais has a brother and a sister, and also never married. A couple other very prominent atheist comedians are Stephen Fry and Hugh Laurie. They were both about the age of 30 when they started the well-known television series A Bit of Fry and Laurie. Additionally, Stephen Fry's name literally means free reward. His mother was named Marianne Eve. Quite interesting that his mother's name includes Mary Ann, which is the traditional name of the Virgin Mary's mother, and Eve, the first woman who became the mother of all the living. He also has a brother and sister, and is Jewish. And Hugh Laurie's name literally means Spirit of Victory, and he has a brother and a sister. Another prominent atheist is David Silverman, who was the president of American Atheists for 8 years. He is of Jewish heritage and began working with American atheists around age 30. Peter Boghossian is another very prominent atheist. His name literally means Peter Paul, two of the most prominent of Jesus' disciples. He is Armenian, which is sometimes considered part of the Middle East, and he is known for coining the term street epistemology. Another prominent atheist is Bart Ehrman, a Bible scholar who is of Jewish heritage, earned his PhD around age 30, and is well known to be a great speaker, debater, and an expert on the scriptures. And, like Bart Ehrman, a prominent American atheist is Dan Barker. His name literally means shepherd judge. Like Gervais, he was born on June 25th, the exact opposite of Christmas. And around age 30, he had a significant life experience, leaving his Christian faith at that time. So in discussing some of the basic biographical information regarding these prominent modern atheists, we have noticed quite a few interesting parallels between these atheists and Jesus. But just how many parallels are there? Well, I made this table showing 11 different areas of similarities. Names, either the atheist's name or the name of their parents, ethnicity or heritage, whether or not there are specific similarities in their youth, such as frequent travel or being noticed around the age of 12, whether or not they have siblings, whether or not they are involved in the coining of new words or terminology, whether or not something significant happened in their life around age 30, whether or not they're speakers or debaters, any association to June 25th, the exact opposite of Christmas, whether or not they ever married, whether or not they've clashed with religious authority, and whether or not they are involved in a new way. Of course, for Jesus, it was the new covenant. For all of these, new atheism is what they are associated with. And I put a check mark where every parallel between Jesus and these atheists shows up. And the results, as you can clearly see, are pretty surprising. There are a lot of similarities. In fact, out of 132 possible parallels, there are 82 of them. That's 62%, an unusually high number. And some of these parallels are highly surprising. Think about it. What are the chances, out of 12 prominent atheists, that one of them would happen to be born on the day that is the exact opposite of Christmas, much less 2 of them? And so there is little doubt that the evidence here tells a fantastic story. All of these prominent modern atheists sharing countless qualities with Jesus Christ. This is not just a coincidence. It is undeniably a sign of something deeper. Someone used the story of Jesus to devise these atheist personas. That's right, these atheists do not actually exist. The truth is, atheists have long wanted to reclaim Jesus under a secular worldview. They want to say that he never claimed to be God, that he didn't care about religious dogmas, and that he went around telling people to never judge and to be pacifists. And so in this atheist mission to reclaim Jesus, what better way than to manufacture individuals with many parallels to him as the central figures of the new atheist movement? And I think this is evident even in places where there aren't parallels. Looking back at that table, one area where there weren't a lot of parallels is in atheists who were never married. However, even here I think we have some evidence of borrowing. Several of these atheists, including Richard Dawkins and Christopher Hitchens, were divorced and remarried. This might be a case of transvaluation, something the scholar Dennis MacDonald has talked about, where a copyist changes elements of the literary source in order to hide their copying. This would be especially fitting because Jesus taught against divorce. So the evidence certainly points to there being copying involved here. Now it is possible that there does exist an atheist evolutionary biologist from Britain who is inspiring the persona of Richard Dawkins. Maybe there's an atheist Bible scholar out there who's named Bart, inspiring the persona of Bart Ehrman. But these many and significant parallels show conclusive evidence of borrowing and copying. So it can no longer be up for debate. The atheist movement of today is based extensively on the life of Jesus Christ. The only question now is, how long will it take for our society to move on from these new atheist figures, recognizing that they are nothing more than myths and legends?